the sun-bathed Green Hill Zone in its light. Amy Rose clutched a perfectly round flower in her hands, her cheeks flushed pink. Today was the day she would finally confess her feelings to Sonic. She had rehearsed her speech countless times in front of the mirror, imagining his surprised and happy face. In the distance, a blue blur appeared. "Sonic," Amy whispered, her heart pounding faster. She adjusted her red headband and took a deep breath. Sonic stopped beside her, grinning. "Hey, Amy." "What's that you've got there?" he asked, casting a fleeting glance at the flower. "Sonic, I wanted to tell you something," Amy began, extending the flower towards him. But before she could finish, a black whirlwind sped past. It was Shadow. He stopped a short distance away, crossing his arms over his chest and giving Sonic a long, scrutinizing look. Sonic immediately turned his attention away from Amy. His gaze met Shadow's crimson eyes, and a strange, almost nervous smile flickered across his face. "What do you need, Shadow?" Sonic asked, his voice sounding a little strained. "Just observing," Shadow replied curtly, his gaze fixed on the blue hedgehog. Amy felt a painful clench in her chest. All her carefully prepared words vanished. She lowered her hand with the flower. Over the next few days, Amy tried various ways to get Sonic's attention. She baked his favorite cupcakes, told him funny stories, and even attempted to join his speed runs, unsuccessfully, of course. But Sonic seemed completely oblivious to all her efforts. His gaze often wandered, searching for Shadow's dark figure, and during their chance encounters, he acted somewhat awkward and flustered. One day, Amy saw Sonic and Shadow talking on the hilltop. She hid behind a large rock and tried to eavesdrop. "Were you training late again?" Sonic asked, his voice softer than usual. "That's none of your business," Shadow retorted, but his voice lacked its usual sharpness. "Just worried," Sonic mumbled, looking away. Amy frowned. Worried about Shadow? Another time, Amy decided to give Sonic a scarf she had knitted herself. She had spent an entire week on it, choosing the softest yarn in his favorite blue color. She found Sonic resting under a tree. "Sonic, this is for you," Amy said shyly, holding out the scarf. Sonic took the scarf, but his gaze immediately fell upon the approaching Shadow. "Oh, hey, Shadow," Sonic said, his attention completely shifting to the dark hedgehog. He didn't even unfold the scarf. Shadow nodded in response and stopped nearby. Amy felt completely invisible. She pressed her lips together, trying to hold back tears. Shadow often watched Sonic from a distance. He admired his boundless energy, his infectious laughter. He felt a strange flutter in his chest every time their eyes accidentally met, but he was afraid to confess his feelings. Afraid that Sonic wouldn't understand, would push him away. Once, during another battle with Dr. Eggman, Sonic found himself in a dangerous situation. The villain's robot aimed a powerful laser at him. Suddenly, like a black lightning bolt, Shadow appeared in front of Sonic, taking the hit himself. Sonic was stunned. "Shadow!" "Why?" "Just shut up and finish this," Shadow growled through gritted teeth, but in his eyes a rare tenderness flickered as he looked at Sonic. After defeating Eggman, an awkward silence hung in the air. Amy tried to approach Sonic, but he kept his gaze fixed on Shadow. "Shadow." "Thanks," Sonic said quietly, his cheeks slightly flushed. Shadow turned away, his ears slightly red. "No need to thank me." Amy felt like an outsider. She could sense the strange connection between the two hedgehogs, but couldn't understand it. Her heart ached. Finally, Amy decided to talk to Sonic directly. She found him alone, watching the sunset. "Sonic," she began, her voice trembling. "Why do you never pay attention to me? I try... I love you." Sonic sighed, without turning to face her. "Amy, you're amazing, really, but my feeling... they're different." Amy felt tears welling up in her eyes. "Different? What do you mean?" Sonic finally turned to her. His gaze was apologetic and a little sad. "It's hard to explain, Amy. It's just... my heart belongs to someone else." At that moment, a dark figure appeared in the distance. Shadow stopped, observing them. Sonic involuntarily looked in his direction. Amy followed his gaze. Her eyes widened with sudden understanding. She looked at Sonic, then at Shadow. Everything clicked into place. Sonic's indifference, his awkwardness, his strange concern for Shadow. Shadow was also looking at Sonic, and in his crimson eyes, Amy saw something more than just rivalry for the first time. There was tenderness? Amy felt not bitterness, but rather a sad acceptance. She understood that her feelings for Sonic were unrequited, and that his heart had long been occupied by another. She gave Sonic a weak smile. "I understand." Sonic looked surprised by her reaction. "You're not angry?" Amy shook her head. "I just hope you'll be happy." She looked at Shadow, who was still standing in the distance. "And you too, Shadow." Shadow flinched as if caught doing something forbidden and quickly turned away. Sonic looked at Amy with gratitude. "Thanks, Amy. You're a true friend." Amy smiled sadly. "Always." She turned and walked away, leaving Sonic alone with his secret feelings and the silent object of his affection. Shadow, hidden in the shadows, continued to watch the receding pink figure, feeling a strange sense of relief and a new wave of hesitation.